Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Loreweek. I am your host, the Lore Runner. Good morning, Seraphim, Darth Taran. Why did your name change color? Loner, Dizara, Ciela Maverick, Micromano, Lord Haramont, Spicy Blue Milk, Takoida, Platy, Hazardous, Permeus, and Barinian. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Very first thing I want to talk about is the theater. No, I'm actually kidding. I mean, I'd love to talk about the theater, but what I would love to talk about even more so, usually not from line to line though, Micromano. What I really want to talk about, more importantly, is a poll we have going on, or to use a slightly more accurate terminology, a survey. I have a survey going. It's actually been up for most of the week, but now's the time when I'm going ahead and trying to share it with everybody. So I'm just gonna, I could preface this with a bunch of things, and I'm sure people have questions, but the long and the short of it is, if we no longer did video game ruminations on Fridays, would you stop financially supporting the show? That's the question. No judgment, no anything. Obviously, if that's the only thing you're here for, duh. If that's, you shouldn't pay for a service you're not getting, I firmly believe in that concept. Blah, 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 blah. This is obviously not something I particularly want to do. This is just me trying to get information. That's why I'm calling this a survey, to try and get information. Obviously, if you do not financially support the show, then don't bother, because it doesn't really apply. I will be putting a link to this in the YouTube VOD, as I always do. Please vote honestly, yada, yada, yada. And yeah, if it doesn't, if you do support the stream financially, if you support the show, if you support the show financially, but only through the stream, this still applies to you, and I do need your response on this, please. In that case, it would be, no, you would not withdraw support because you support on the stream. Now, anybody who's been following me for a while knows where this is coming from. Video game ruminations are something that have been a nightmare for a couple years now that I've just kind of put up with. Is that all Friday ruminations? No. See, some of you probably already noticed this, but if you go and look at the website right now, I actually have all of the rest of the year's Friday ruminations up on the schedule and exactly the day they'll go going live. So next Friday is BioShock Infinite, and then we're doing Mass Effect 1 2 weeks after that, excuse me. Then a week after that is Mass Effect 2. Then a week after that is Mass Effect 3. Then starting on June 12th, and every week, it's all movies. We've got the Dollar Trilogy, we've got 2001 Space Odyssey, we got Spaceballs, we got Primer, we got Harry Potter 5, we've got Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which is a great movie, by the way. Honestly, I wish I could redo that rumination, because there's even more I've thought of since recording it. Movie ruminations will still be happening on Friday. The Star Trek ruminations will still be happening on Monday and Tuesday. The streaminations will still be happening on Sundays. The only thing I'm thinking about axing, well, I don't want to say it like that. The only thing that it might be beneficial to withdraw is the video game Friday ruminations, such as the Mass Effect stuff or BioShock stuff and all that fun stuff. Now, we've actually talked about this a lot in Discord and streams and in YouTube VODs. This is not exactly a... Oh, yeah, thank you. I should put this up. Boop. This is not exactly a new concept. No, I don't blow up, Alex. This is not a new idea. This is not a new anything. But what I need, if I'm going to make any kind of informed choices going forward, is I need to be informed, which is why I'm asking you, and this is just my personal request, to vote, and to vote honestly. And again, honestly, basically, when it comes to, no judgment and no anything, because honestly, it really makes perfect sense. So... And thank you very, very much, Wraith. Very much obliged and appreciate, sir. Thank you. I will put that towards Resident Evil 3 Remake. Now, before anybody... Whoops, that's the wrong document. Before anybody mentions it, yes, obviously I don't really want to discontinue video game ruminations. I understand people's desire for them. I get it. Not everyone can watch the VOD for the streams. RA3R. Thank you again, Wraith. Not everyone can watch the streams. They are a rather large time commitment. And it's not like there's any real... Like, I've thought several times of some kind of way to try and No, Canada Banks. To try and make it so that I can turn a stream into a rumination, and honestly, I've just never come up with anything that actually works. I've tried several things over the years. We tried that, if you remember, with the brief review things, and they were just kind of not working, and that was axed. And currently we have the highlight reels, but honestly, the highlight reels don't really capture the essence of analysis and discussion, so that doesn't really work. And just doing a rumination after it basically just kind of absolutely annihilates my schedule and is even less feasible than going ahead and doing the cramming, which I already do. So having it in some kind of digestible format, which, is, 30-ish minutes long, 30 to 40 minutes long, rather than, 12 hours of VODs, that makes perfect sense. I get that. I really do. But it's not pleasant to go through it. There's a reason I tend to forget so many of the games that I ruminate on. A fact that I've more or less proven at this point, since we recently streamed a game that I ruminated on, which I barely remembered from the rumination. And it is immensely stressful every time I have to do that and spend a month just basically killing myself to get all the videos recorded. Now, Timanash asks, would films still be nominatable? Yeah, actually, the idea would be effectively just films. That's what I just said why that's not happening. Dream Whisperer, I'm sorry, I know you just jumped in. Will there be a way in the future to ruminate after the stream? Well, I feel like I just answered that one too. I can't picture any way to make that work, especially since we've already tried 3 separate ways that haven't worked for that. Yeah, no, when I'm in a rumination cycle, when I'm in a floodgate cycle, I wake up. I usually don't exercise because I don't have time, because exercising takes time. I wake up, I sit down, and I sit down, I'm like, okay, this is what we're working on, this is what I need to do, I've got my, behind-the-scenes stuff, whatever I happen to have access to, and I just sit here and I mash through the game, with walkthroughs and with cheats, if applicable, as quickly as humanly possible, and anything that really strikes me as something with regards to game design, or with regards to lower characters, whatever, I've got my notebook right here, and I just jot down notes, and I have a whole system for how I pattern and construct my notes now, which may or may not be obvious to you guys, but I do have a system for how I take my notes now. Didn't used to. Hell, I didn't used to take notes at all. And then I sit down and immediately, like within a few seconds after I'm done recording, it's like, okay, clong. And then I forget the game even exists and I move immediately on to the next thing. And that's what I do for about a month. About 5 weeks, give or take. Now, Takoida mentions that the problem is workload. I don't disagree. But I don't really feel like there's any solution to that, because the option then would be, okay, so we're going to allow video games to be nominated for Ruminations next year, but nothing long. And that just introduces a whole other series of problems, doesn't it? Like if someone's like, I want you to ruminate on Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which I think actually I already have done, or any of the Trails of games, it would be like, ugh. Reduced number of slots. Now that's interesting. How many of you noticed that we started going to once every other week Friday Ruminations instead of once every week? By what is effectively sheer... I have... God. I can't even remember which one that is, Max Time, but I believe you. But yeah, I have actually... I was very afraid that... Because we did that because of sheer health concerns. It was just starting to get to me. I was just starting to run out of energy and run out of time. And it was killing me in a very serious and literal way. I was having some genuine issues and night terrors. Let's not go into it. The point being that we reduced it to 25 ruminations a year instead of 50. Or 51 or whatever. Now, the last couple of years, we have a little bit of we've had a little bit of an asterisk attached to that. Because, and you'll notice that this year, again, as I just mentioned, we've been doing every other up until, looks like May 15th? Yeah, up until May 15th. And then Friday Ruminations are going to come out every week. Then you're probably thinking, why? Because they're movies. This is why this is a thought that has occurred to me. And this is why something that, even if we don't actually codify this, because again, we're not at the decision-making point. This will be decided around August. But this is why this is the only solution that has come to my mind that I feel is the least bad as far as doing stuff going forward, because we can do plenty of film ruminations, because a film, as Kira White Noise pointed out, is only on average about 3 hours long, which is a lot easier to sit and process and takes a lot less time, even if I were to cram them the way I was doing, which I usually don't when it comes to movies. But even if I was, I would be able to spend a lot less time and stress pushing out 51 movies than 51 games, or even 25 games. You are now the 4th person this stream to mention that, Hazardous. I have tried that in 3 separate ways up until now, and I haven't really come up with a way to make that work yet. It could just be me. Maybe it's just me. So, you know, shrug. Regardless, I also have to admit, and okay, so let's get into creativity for a second. I feel that movies and shows fit the rumination format better, my opinion. Because if I... Okay, 2 things. First of all, it's a lot easier for people to recognize and immediately be like, aha, for moments and concepts when it comes to films and shows. Second of all, the structure of a film and a show fits the discussion analysis after the fact format for me, the way I do things, a lot better than a game does. Especially since a game, I'm usually not going to be... I'm explaining this terribly wrong. Let me try again here. Rewind. You know the Star Trek ruminations? Those are great, right? So, those are actually my biggest things on YouTube right now. In all sincerity. In terms of viewership and in terms of views. That is, or I'm saying that wrong. In terms of time viewed. In terms of retention, I actually get more people watching my Star Trek videos than everything else combined on YouTube. Now, I know the rest of it's just VODs and the Friday rumination stuff, but that does say something about it. So, when it comes to the review, the ruminations, the TV format works great. Now, obviously, the ideal would be, you know, being able to put footage back behind it, but A, time and workload, and B, copy wrong, so that's completely not available. So, given the limitations of the system, it seems a little bit acceptable. Right now, what is one of the most common comments that I get on my YouTube comments, other than that I suck? Can anyone guess what it is? You were wrong, and here's why. Okay, fair. What's the second most common comment I got? It's, why don't you put gameplay footage behind you? Now, most of you who've known me for a while know exactly why we don't put gameplay footage behind me. But that is an extremely common comment, and it's actually started getting more common in more recent times again. Like, people are like, hey! And once again are starting to ask questions like, why aren't you putting video game footage behind you? So I kind of can't put movie and show footage behind me, which I mentioned because no one ever asks about it on those. People just seem to sort of get that I can't really put the movie behind me while commenting on it. But nobody ever gets that when it comes to games. And so that's yet another reason why this kind of works out. Now, let me try and explain my point here. Obviously, I hate those comments, but those comments at least make sense. Why? Because when it comes to a game, it's better to literally show you what I'm talking about rather than just talk about it and assume that you remember it. Because I can actually be like, here, like we do on the streams. But with regards to, you know, movies and shows, if I say, oh man, let me try to come up with one randomly here. You remember the scene where the Enterprise D just kind of starts slowly slanting down and the camera kind of shows the planet's surface kind of coming up on it, and the camera actually pulls back a little bit, and you can see a little bit of how they're distending the field of view just to give the viewer the impression of that. I would imagine just by describing that, there's several of you who actually immediately know the scene I'm referring to, and even the specific movie. Thank you very much, Mega DA. Very much oblige and appreciate, sir. Thank you. I'll put that towards A Plague Tale: Innocence. As I find the thing here. Okay. Anywho. So, first of all, the first and most primary reason, like, I feel like I'm just talking in circles at this point. It kind of sucks to do. The workload is insane. And there's also, obviously, the problems with YouTube coming on here. You guys can disagree with me on this, and that's absolutely fine. I totally get that, but I really do firmly and legitimately believe that video games do not fit the rumination format at all. I really don't. I feel like video games are better streamed. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, and that's fine. Like I said, I already mentioned that doesn't even actually have a relevance to this. I'm just talking out while people vote and give me their thoughts and opinions and, you know, disagreements. So, yeah, maybe if I... Most people... This is another thing. Most people who actually do video game commentary videos and, you know, do that kind of thing, they have a team. They have a group of people who sit back there and do the editing and do the processing and playing the game and grabbing the work and blah, blah, blah. Or they only release one video every 2 months. I have neither of those availabilities. So, either way, this is something that I've been debating for a while. And we'll see going forwards. But, like I said, I cannot make an informed decision unless I am informed. Exactly, Imperial Star Destroyer. That is exactly one of the reasons why it sucks. Because the in-between solution I've come up with is the highlight reels, which, while it has substantially increased my workload, like, I don't even take breaks during lunch anymore because of the highlight reel thing. But, the highlight reels, at the very least, is a way for people to be able to have a digestible stream format rather than actually sitting down and watching 8 hours. They can watch like 14 minutes. So, hopefully, theoretically, that is a thing that helps. I know it's not the same. Have I thought about reducing the amount of ruminations again? I mean, at that point, I might as well be asking the same questions. We're already at the point where only 25 games, or whatever, can get in, so... This is why I need a second low runner. Kinda, yeah. I'll just have just clone a second me, and he'll do the rumination stuff, and I'll do the stream stuff. Consider shortening stream time. I mean, I could, but to what avail? Other than, you know, being able to not work. Because all that's going to do is increase my backlog. This is a different Voot. Here's the Voot. I'll just keep pasting it. Again, to really, just to summarize my thoughts here really quick, I do get why people prefer the ruminations. I do. Well, at least I get one of the reasons why people prefer the ruminations. And I don't particularly want to cancel them. If I didn't have to sleep, this would be fine. And that sounds like a joke, but it's not. I would love to not have to sleep. Oh, that would be such a game changer for me. Never be tired again, and to have an extra 8 hours every day. Holy crap. That would be incredibly useful. Well, part of the reason... Okay, so there is one final addendum to all of this. One of the final reasons, and this is only very partially related... No, I don't enjoy sleeping. I hate sleeping. It's a waste of damn time. One of the final reasons that I've been kind of pushing to move away from ruminations in general is YouTube. Because, you know, YouTube sucks. let's just say that as bluntly as we possibly can. And we're already at the point where many other YouTube creators are starting to realize the things that I realized about 6 years ago. And, you know, are trying desperately to push away from... There's a reason so many YouTubers out there begin a video with, this video is sponsored by such and such. Or, here, let me plug my Patreon really quick. Because they have to. Because YouTube has just been getting worse and worse and worse in basically every way. Like, it's gotten past the fact that you can't make money directly from ad money anymore. It's gotten to the point where they're now trying to actively de-emphasize any individual content creators by burying them within the algorithm, so that unless you're specifically looking for a thing, you're not going to find them, and just it's all over the place. It's just a mess. So why are we kicking the dead horse's corpse again? Because what if tomorrow, and this is something that's been in my mind for a few years now, what if tomorrow YouTube just kind of, my channel, it's gone. Now, we actually do have a backup option there, ignoring Twitch. Obviously, I'd keep streaming, but we do have a backup option. That's why I have a server that I have purchased and spend money on every month on Amazon for the MP3s. Some of you may or may not actually have noticed that. I know at least some of you have been trying to listen to the MP3 format of the shows, but every Rumination actually has an MP3 version. There's an RSS on it on the top of on the front page of the website. I can talk. And the MP3 stuff is all actually being hosted on that Amazon server I just mentioned. So, you know, that's at like $40 a month at the moment, depending on usage, which is actually a good thing. It means people are actually using it. And it's the exact same thing. It is literally the audio file from the Rumination, just edited a little bit to make it a little bit better for, you know, headphones or whatever, which at this point I have a batch process for. I literally just say, hey, do this batch process on all these files. Wong, 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 wong. So that's the current contingency. It's up now. But if YouTube Ruminations will still go live, they will just be pure audio. That's our current backup plan. And I wanted to mention that for anybody who's not aware of that, because that is the worst case scenario, is Ruminations will still happen on the website via MP3. Thank you very much, We Out. Very much appreciate, sir. Thank you. I'll put that towards Spellforce immediately. As soon as I find the document, which is not that document. Here we go. Here we go. Spellforce 3, I think. There we go. Okay. Have I considered joining in on Nebula? Yes, I have. And I've actually looked at several other options. Shadow Machine mentioned Vimeo, which is not feasible. All I'm going to say, to summarize, because please trust me when I say that I've done the background work on here. All I'm going to say is there's a reason that Sci-Fi Debris has changed video hosting services 5 times since leaving YouTube. That really makes my point for me. There really is not another viable option that is not Pornhub. And to be completely blunt, all joking aside, I don't think Pornhub is a viable option. So I'm glad the MP3 thing is working. I really am. I hope we don't get to that point. It'd be nice. What we're doing right now is, and so I've been doing a lot of things over the last couple of years, and this is just something we're kind of really focusing on at this point. What I've been doing is trying to find this tiny little corner of YouTube where no one's going to bother us. You know, we use completely custom music or remixed music. We have either custom or personally designed backgrounds like this right here. This is not purchased or anything. This is actually made by Kay, one of our viewers. So this is actually a custom background, you know, by us. This is me, right, in front of a thing. You know, I own myself. I've got my own little symbol right here. And, you know, and we also aren't flagged for things that are available for children, so that they're not going to try and come after us with regards to, I forget what they call it, but there's this fleecing thing they do with regards to things that have ad comedy, blah, 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 blah. The long and the short of it is there are plenty of reasons, and yeah, I say suicide and stuff like that. Basically, YouTube has already been pushing me into a corner, and that's actually a good thing, because I've been trying to avoid attention, effectively. I've been trying to avoid attention. So there's actually, the most likely thing going forward is we will continue to be in this tiny little corner of the internet that's basically only available for, you know, from word of mouth, for people who actually are specifically looking, you know, who are told about the show. And therefore, that's probably what's going to keep happening going forward, is we're just going to be over here, under the radar, in the corner. The end. That's the most likely going forward. The Amazon backup thing kind of had to happen anyways, but it's just kind of my nature to prepare for the worst, because I've been through the worst. It's not fun. I wouldn't recommend it. Good, Rex. Good. Half the soul's chocolate rub? I don't know, man. Now, I know you guys don't want a situation where there's not the webcam. I'm not 100% sure why. I hate my face and everything about it, but I do know that I express with my face and with my hands. I do know I have motion when it comes to talking. So I suppose that's at least part of that. And again, it's not something I want to get rid of. No, what I want to do is lose a bit of weight so I feel more comfortable on camera. But that's neither here nor there. Thank you very, very much, Chai Guy. Very much appreciate the sub. Thank you. I'll put towards Bloodstained. And yes, Atris, I don't know if you've ever heard me say this, but y'all are awesome. I really do mean that. I am 100% aware of just how fortunate I am to have you guys. Really. Anyways, so, having said all that, I just wanted to kind of explain the reasoning, the logic, and the behind the scenes, and explain what's going through my head, because, you know, I'm thinking about this as I often do. Now, and again, please vote honestly. I need your honest reasoning and thought process, blah, blah, blah. We will not actually be making a decision on this until about August. So, this is not an immediacy thing. It's just me planning ahead, because I'm me. I mean, I already have next March's videos uploaded. No, seriously, if I died tomorrow, you would keep getting videos until next March. It's just how I am. Now, moving on. Let's see, where's our stuff? So I actually don't have a lot to talk about this week. That was the big thing. I wanted to get that out there. Do I think having a larger audience would make it harder to manage things? Depends. Like, obviously, I don't want to start ignoring viewers with regards to streams. On the YouTube side of things, I don't think it would affect anything, other than the fact that I'd have more unpleasantness in the comments section. But with regards to streams, I do have to admit it would be a little bit of a problem at that point. Who would upload them? You don't understand, Final Cloud. They are uploaded now. They are currently uploaded and scheduled for release. That's how I do it. You ever wonder why the videos go live at exactly 5 a.m. every morning? Because I'm not awake at 5 a.m. every morning. Hopefully, we will not have to deal with this. But again, I want to be informed, and that's why the poll's out there. Yeah, super popular YouTubers and streamers don't read their comments. I'm fully aware of that. There's a certain point where you just can't. Like, there's just not much you can do about that. This is a Final Fantasy V. I forget if this is the second or third overworld music, but it's one of them. Snicker Friend. Lore sleeps. Yeah. Lore has to drug himself. Am I looking for an alternative to YouTube? I always look for an alternative to YouTube. There is none. Let's just summarize that really quick. There is none. There is Pornhub. And Pornhub has its own issues. Ignoring the fact that it's Pornhub, it has its own issues other than that. So, news. Let me switch over to random news here really quick, such as it is. There we go. I don't want to get into it right now, Hazardous, if that's okay. So, Animal Crossing. How many of you are aware of that game? Oh my god, Volcanta. There you go, there you go. Animal Crossing. Some of you are aware of that game, right? It just came out on the Switch. I forget what it's called. New Horizons, I think? I don't know. I haven't even pulled it out of the wrapping. But what do I think of Mixer? That's what I think of Mixer. So, I just have to share this comment.
Of course you follow me. They all do.
Not that comment. Not that comment. Hang on. No, I gotta go and... Really, guys? Really? I don't even have the thing up right now. I wasn't... Gotcha, Ice Tray. Thank you very, very much, Ice Tray. Very much appreciate, sir. Thank you. By the way, I do count out seconds for when I do that, for anybody who's wondering. You know me, I like to be standardized. It's 5 seconds. It's 1 second per $5, if anybody's wondering. Apparently, Blackfile. Thank you again, Ice Tray. And I've put that towards Tales from the Borderlands. What was I talking about? Animal Crossing. So I just had to share 2 things about Animal Crossing. First is a quote. This was on Washington Post, I think? I forget the exact thing. The quote is, and I just have to share the quote by itself. I'm building this up too much. Animal Crossing is Fortnite for moms. The second comment. No, Ice Tray. What are you doing, man? You're done. I know, right? Thank you, Ice Tray. Thank you very, very much, sir. Very much appreciate your support again, and I'll put that towards Suikoden into as soon as I find the document. I keep moving it around here. Suikoden 2, which I think is getting really close to being filled out at this point. Thanos for Animal Crossing. No, So, ignoring that, Animal Crossing is probably banned in China. Now, I have to actually say it this way, because I actually did a little more looking into this, because it's me, and I like to do my due diligence when it comes to reporting. And actually, it turns out it's a little harder to get concrete information on it than it sounds, probably because it's China, and getting concrete information out of China right now is just a nightmare. That's not controversial, that's just a straight fact. But so here's the thing. You cannot buy physical copies of Animal Crossing in China. That's fact. And there's rumors circulating that they're trying to remove the purchase of digital copies in China right now. And thank you very much, Progue. Very much appreciate, sir. Thank you. And I will find the link. Here it is. There it is. And that's towards... Well, you say it's towards something I enjoy, so I can't put that towards Dealer's Choice. Because I don't actually put Dealer's Choice towards things I enjoy. I put it towards things that some people, a lot of people are interested in, but not a lot of money, or a few people are interested in, but a lot of money, to try and lift up those to the top of the list. So, for something I'm interested in, I'll have to think about that.
Your dedication will be rewarded.
I think I'll put it towards Ice Tray. I think that feels like the right move there. For Soten, thank you very, very much, Ice Tray. Very much appreciate and obliged. Thank you, sir. You've basically just bought my groceries today, because I'll be going grocery shopping later today. I do appreciate it. Really, I remember what it's like to not have groceries. I have never forgotten. I probably never will. You don't forget stuff like that. What would $1,000 be? That would be, because I'd do it. You think I wouldn't? So, that'd be about 3 minutes, 20 seconds. I'd bow for 3 minutes, 20 seconds. Damn it, Crazy Norse. No! No! Yeah, I have been there, Cord. I've had less than that, too. Anyways, so, yeah, let's talk about this. So, China. They've probably banned it digitally. Thank you for watching my show, Crazy Norse. Really. I suppose I shouldn't have to say the really part. I've had this problem since I was a child. I've always had a problem with expressing how thankful I actually am. My grandparents used to make fun of me. It's not a joke. My grandparents used to make fun of me. And they were like, we know you like the gift, grandson, grandlore. We know you like it. And it's like, no, but I really am thankful for this. This is awesome. And it's going to be fun and great. Like, yes, we get it. You don't have to. But you don't understand. Like, I got to. Anyway, so why did China do this? Well, actually, there's 2 reasons. Reason number 1 is obvious, because people were putting free Hong Kong like messages and images and whatnot when it comes to the game, because you can make like little custom stuff. Cool. All right. So that's dumb. But the second reason... Oh, and I've got to find the actual specific quote. By the way, do you know only 3 Nintendo Switch games are actually allowed for availability in China right now? All 3 of them are Mario games that have been censored. Listen, Dark Tyrant, when I take over the world, I'm going to take over the world like a janitor. Anyways, blah, 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 blah. Here we go. So, oh, this isn't the full list. Damn it. There's like a full list of things that are... I actually mentioned this on a stream recently, and I apparently can't find it now. Hang on, let me see if I can find a specific thing. I thought I had this up, and I don't, because I'm dumb. Like you do. Give me a second. This should be it. Yep, nope, this is it. Okay, so, see, the CCP, I think? Whatever the government is, you know, the evil, horrible, dictatorial government, they have noticed, and I quote, an authority vacuum in online multiplayer games, which allows people to freely socialize without monitoring. Which is unacceptable. Therefore... They are actively in the process of drafting laws to expand the scope of online censorship in video games and prevent gamers from interacting with gamers who are outside of China in its entirety. They will also be subject to a new type of surveillance thing, and they're also implementing a new real name mechanism, so you have to use your real name in online games. They will not allow for... These things will now be prohibited when it comes to video game design. These include zombies, okay, plagues, whatever, map editing, role-playing, and organizing, as in getting into a group. Also, they are going to increase the curfew of gaming from to make it so that you cannot game after 10 p.m.
Of course you follow me. They all do.
Or before 8 a.m. And if you're... Oh, excuse me, that's apparently only if you're under 18? Yeah, it's only... Sorry. That's only if you're under 18. Yes, my channel's finally illegal in China. Whew! And the amount of money they are allowed to spend on online games is going to be curbed, regardless of their age, which is actually probably the only thing I'm in favor of on that one. Even that I probably still wouldn't push forward. I have to laugh because it's so not funny. Thank you, the Blackout. Thank you very, very much, sir. However, you didn't tell me what you want to put that donation towards. And you know what we do to people who do not put donations towards things? Yeah, if I actually wanted to officially codify being illegal in China, Winnie the Flu. I think I should do it. I don't even know what to say. Like, again, it really is you have to laugh because it's so sad kind of a situation. I don't even know what to say about this. I mean, you can play. Yeah, you can only play. The only Switch games you can play in China are 3 censored Mario games. Mario games. We enjoy you too, Wondering Bard. Well, I do. I don't know if they do. They might hate you. Just letting you know. But you're cool to me. You're cool in my book. Yeah. Anyways, Yeah, what is there to censor in a video game? I only know one thing off the top of my head. Dry bones. Dry bones. I don't know what else. And I'm not even sure I care at this point. No, the actual worst country in the world is... And then I cut off. And then you just fill in the blanks there as you wish. Because whatever it is, we here exist to validate your own opinion. Anyways. Sorry, that's actually an FF7 joke. I don't think Undertale is available in China. I could be wrong. I'm not sure. North Korea. Moving on. So, that's enough about China. Let's talk about some other stuff. Crysis is getting a remaster? Like, I'm not unpopular about this one. I just... Unpopular? That's weird. I'm not I don't get it. Like, was Crysis actually a good game? I've never played Crysis. So I don't know. It just seems strange that they're pushing out a Crysis remaster. Right? I mean, that just seems unusual, right? So I did a little looking into it. And apparently, there's actually a lot of movings and stirrings that they are, in fact, developing a new Crysis game. And that this is a lead-up to that. Which could be interesting. This is still the realm of rumor, by the way. Big asterisk of rumor. But I thought I'd share because the Crysis remaster kind of brought it to my desk, so to speak. Thank you very much, Wondering. Very much appreciate, sir. And I know you like to lurk, but if you do want to tell me what you want to put that towards, I would be appreciative. Please and thank you. If they retcon 2 and 3. I mean... Listen, I need your suit! Anyways, no spoilers. So... no, they actually won't properly be released until next Friday. Crysis R on the Switch was... Shrug? I mean, I hate to say this, but Crysis was only the big, can you run it thing a long time ago. We are way past that. So Crysis being playable on the Switch doesn't even begin to faze me. Doom 4 is playable on the Switch, and it's fine. Now, I'm kind of with you, Tesla. I kind of am. Like, I'm sorry, Doom 4... I mean, granted, Doom 4 has some... It's reduced. But, we can play Witcher 3 on the Switch. And it's actually a pretty decent port, too. They did some good job. They did a good job with several aspects of it, so... Now... That being said, it'll be interesting to see what they do with this one. But yeah, there's a difference between good console optimization and bad console optimization. We've shown that off too. In fact, all I have to say about that is Bloodstained. Which, even after it was patched, is still worse than the PC version in every way. Which pisses me off, by the way, but whatever, let's not get into that. We'll be playing the PC version of Bloodstained, by the way. That's true, Atris. That's also very true. Good morning, Righteous Ham. So, GTA, yes, Lieutenant. Today is Positivity Day. It's a Sunday. GTA 6, they have confirmed that they are in development on it because of part of a article about how they're trying to change the culture of Rockstar to be less horrible. I mean, I could summarize, but that's the long and the short of it. I'm not sure what I think of that. I mean, obviously, less horrible culture is a good thing. We'll see if it sticks. Yeah, good luck. That's really all I have to say about that one. It would be nice to have at least one major developer out there which isn't, horrible to work at for the human beings working at it. And yeah, I was just saying, they're owned by 2K and have been for a long time. We actually talked about that during the GTA 3D lore run and why that happened. And then the guy who was in charge of 2K left, and then 2K kind of became a nightmare state. So... I haven't even considered it Ice Tray, but it'd be easy to do. if anybody wants it. Being kind to workers? No, they aren't workers. They are resources. Resources to be utilized and consumed, and then discarded like the worthless trash that they are. Excuse me. Sorry. It's crunch time. I survived consumption. I don't know how to actually act evil, so I always just kind of go cartoony with it, because that's safe territory, right? So it's like the WWE performing for an empty stadium. Anywho, so that's another thing. I do, so right now, and in fact, for the last couple of days, and it's actually ending today, coronavirus, or Corona Relief Done Quick has been going on. It was an impromptu online participant-only Games Done Quick event for raising relief for Direct Relief, I think? Hang on, let me double check here. Pretty sure they're raising money for Direct Relief. Almost positive. No, I don't want... They're playing Pokemon Sword and Shield right now. Yep, nope, I was right. Direct Relief. Which is a... I mean, you could find out about them here. Here's Direct Relief. Boop. That's who they're giving the money to. Whether that's good or bad is up to you. As always, every single charity organization in the entire world has issues and problems with it. So it's kind of up to you to decide if this one is acceptable or not. But that's who they're supporting. That's who they're donating towards. There was a really awesome run last night, which I really recommend you watch legitimately. Let's see if I can find the VOD here. I've only gotten to watch about 10 seconds of it, but that was sufficient for me. It's a guy doing DDR. And I think I found it. Maybe not. Nope, I didn't find it. It might not actually be on YouTube yet, because they do sort of a staggered VOD upload thing, kind of similar to what I do. Either way, if you manage to find a clip of that or find it on Twitch, I highly recommend it. It was actually insane. I cannot believe what he was managing. Anywho, so I have two other little tidbits of news here. Bit of news number one. I don't know how many of you care, so I'm going to say this before I give any opinions. Jason Schreier has left Kotaku. I'm just watching people's reactions a little bit here. I'm noticing a few who's and a few thank goodness or good for him. Yeah, I've been kind of anti-Kotaku ever since they got bought by, I forget what they're called, which at this point was years ago. I think it was years ago. It's been a while. No, he just left last week. In fact, here's the post where he announces his leaving. He is, at the moment, apparently going solo. He's going to be basically reporting on his Twitter feed, for anybody who cares about that. I will say this is kind of nice. It means I never have to look at Kotaku again. Schreier... I actually have a decent amount of respect for Jason Schreier, legitimately. While the man certainly has agendas he tries to push, he always actually bothers to do something that I personally feel is extremely important when it comes to being a reporter. Due diligence. It's something I myself have failed at several times, and I do apologize for that whenever I do fail that. I try to be a lot more particular about things nowadays, and that's one of the reasons I brought up the China thing earlier. It's like, well... but Schreier pretty much always does his due diligence, which is good. So I'll willingly take him, pushing an agenda as long as he gives me actual freaking information that he actually looked into, and he'll cite sources and all sorts of stuff like that. So... we will see what he has to do going forward. I am going to be kind of following... I'm going to be following him a bit and see where he goes and what he does. But Kotaku has just lost the very last person I gave a damn about in it. So, that's neat. Do I think this is going to be a nail in the coffin for Kotaku? No. No, I think that site is going to be just fine for the same reason it has been just fine. And I can't go into further detail without starting to be unkind. Yeah, no kidding. I was just... So, we'll see. That's actually it. I don't have much to say about that other than, you know, good on him, legit, and get him the hell out of there. Here's hoping he actually can continue to have, you know, a decent job and decent working conditions and blah, 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 and keep being an actual journalist, because Lord knows we don't have that many of those right now. Last point I want to bring up. This actually amuses me. So, there's a new XCOM game coming out in about 5 days. XCOM Chimera Squad is what it's called. As usual, links, as I'm trying to do links these days. Thank you for reminding me, Dream Whisperer. I do appreciate the reminder, because I always forget those, because donor box is weird. I will jot that down right here and make a note of it. It does look interesting. It does look like a... not a full game, basically. More like a side game, but I don't mean that as a bad thing, because there's nothing necessarily wrong with the side game, as long as they... you know, focus on what they're wanting to. Speaking of which, I was paying attention to some of the gameplay stuff they've released, and I like the ideas they have posited. So first of all, actually introducing initiative and a visible initiative order, and altering how initiative works. So if you don't understand what I mean by this, in XCOM, you get all your turns, and there's an action economy involved with that, and then they get all their turns, and then you get all your turns, and then they get all their turns. In this, it'll actually be more like FF10. You have an initiative order, you go, they go, you go, they go, you go, they go. And there are attacks and moves and stuns and all that kind of stuff, which will alter who can act when. And there's actually a little indicator and all sorts of stuff like that. So that's cool. There is also going to be a surprise round for something called a breaching action. This actually sounds like the coolest feature to me personally. Because a breaching action... So whenever you're starting a mission, you have several... Absolutely true, Weods. There are several methods of entry you can do. They have different gameplay benefits and or detriments, depending. So, you know, you could breach in through the window, or you could come up through the roof, or maybe you just want to shove in the front door, or you can stealth into the back, and you can distribute your people through the breaching. Yeah, actual deployment location choice is awesome in general, but that also gives you the surprise round, which I just referenced, which is the breaching round, when you just you breach in, and you get basically one full round of actions before the enemy has the chance to actually do much. Designed well, that could be awesome. We'll see. Obviously, all of this is going to be in the we'll see category. The other thing they're doing is, this is kind of neat, so there's no permadeath per se. If a unit dies, you have to start over, because not all of the characters are named and part of the story. I'm not sure what I think of that, but I'm kind of okay with it, because if a unit goes down, you have several rounds to help them. See Final Fantasy Tactics for a good example of this kind of mechanic. So they go down, and it's like, oh, and you can rush over and save them or stabilize them or whatever. If you successfully stabilize them, they're fine. They're out of this particular thing of combat, but their life has been saved. However, now this is kind of cool. They get scars for going down in combat. Scars are permanent debuffs that will affect them in future missions. And yes, you can get multiple scars. So, I kind of like that idea, honestly, because if you're the sort of person who wants to not have anyone go down, fine, you know, you reload the save, you save scum, cool. But if you want a hardcore run or something similar than that, you just accept the scars. And you accept that that is now a consequence of failure. Now, The gameplay videos I saw were kind of vague on this point. They mentioned, yeah, like Pandemic. I said that's a great concept of that. Bragwin, in our current Pandemic campaign, has 2 scars. Now, they were kind of vague about how to heal scars. They did mention that if you get certain tech and certain access to certain research upgrades, then you can send them away for X amount of time, and while they're gone, and they're just unavailable for X amount of time, you can restore the scars. But they didn't mention if that was applying to the scars for the failures, or if that was just to boost their stats, or whatever. So, I'm just going to leave that into the vague category there. Still a cool idea. I'm still down with it. And finally, they have an actual strategic layer. Go figure. I have no idea, Mike Romano. And I am my scars. They have a strategic layer, which is the city in question, which is the human-alien hybrid city. This is set 5 years after the end of XCOM 2, by the way. So, I believe you, Javin. The way it works is you've got different districts and different sectors. You've got different missions you can accomplish. Some of those missions don't do much. Some of them do plenty of things. Some of them give you benefits. Some of them are just there to prevent unrest. Your goal is to prevent unrest. Unrest is the strategic fail state. If the city hits the point of unrest, you lose the campaign. Similar to losing against the aliens in XCOM or XCOM 2. It looks good. Like, I'm actually pretty excited about this. And it's funny because I can't violate my own rules because the funding list is locked right now. However, I do have a separate list for games that I would like to add to the funding list in the future, and this game is absolutely on it. I'm pretty psyched. This looks pretty good. If nothing else, and I know several people in chat have already mentioned this looks like a good idea, or a good way, to test out some new mechanics going forwards. See you around, Cord. Get some rest. See, I'd say it's not my fault the list is 150 strong, and it kinda isn't. Oh, I've already bought it. How good is Pandemic Season 2? Really good. I don't remember which exact version we're using. It's one of the scripted ones. Ask me again next Thursday, and I can answer you that. That's also true, Tesla. Yes, this could also serve as a bridge to a new XCOM game, an XCOM 3. Oh yeah, I suppose I should mention several people keep positing the idea that I should add a here's games I want to play thing. I suppose I should mention that I'm still debating exactly what we're going to do when the list opens up again, because there's... in terms of practical functionality, there's actually a lot of ways we could do that. And I'm not sure what the best method is. It's not really a decision for now. We've got months before we have to think about that, but I've been thinking about it now because it's me. And I haven't really decided what the best option is yet to open the list back up. I'm still thinking about it. Well, if you want to hear the list, I'll tell it to you right now. Like this very second. All the games that I want to add to the list, and when I say all, I mean this is more like a brief list. This is the ones that came to mind. Include, but are not limited to. Super Mario World, Yoshi's Island, Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, Castlevania 1-3, Kirby's Adventure, Kirby All-Stars, Punch-Out and Super Punch-Out, River City Ransom, Super Castlevania, Evo, Search for Eden, Ogre Battle, Star Fox 64, TMNT Turtles in Time, DuckTales 1 and 2, all the Mario Karts, let's just skip through that, all the Pokemons, let's just skip through that, the Mass Effect Trilogy, Dragon Age 2, Arcanum, Star Wars Rebellion, Alpha Centauri, Civilization 5, Total War 3 Kingdoms, Doom, the original, Homeworld, the original, Diablo 2, Diablo 3, Quake, StarCraft, StarCraft 2, Dungeon Keeper, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Sea of Stars, Zelda, all the Zeldas. The Messenger, Iron Harvest, Unity of Command 2, Mercenary Saga, Tiny Metal, Mutants Year Zero, Eastshade, Chasm, Swords of Ditto, Shadows of Adam, Heroes of the Kingdom 2, Crying Suns, Desperados 3, Planet Alpha, Cloudpunk, Maya, The Liar and the Blind Prince, Fell Seal Arbiter's Mark, Religion, Spinortality, Rise to Ruins, Abandoned Ship, Stranded Sails, Yes, Your Grace, Eagle Island, Warsaw, Imperator, that's Paradoxes, XCOM Chimera Squad, Humankind, Old World, Fort Triumph. But that sounds like 10 games to me, Javin. I could come up with a lot more, I'm sure, but, you know, shrug. Those are all games I'm interested in reviewing. So, we'll see. Yeah, those are games that I would like to review, Ice Tray. Put them on the list. I can't. List is locked. Oh yeah, the Yakuzas. I'd love to look at the rest of the Yakuza series. Especially now that it's all on PC, I believe. Yeah, there's also the new River City Ransoms, because apparently that series kept going and I didn't notice until the 3DS. Go figure. The list is going to stay locked at least, bare minimum, until we get down to 50. Once we get down to 50 items on the list, I'll start thinking about adding, well, or rather, we will figure out how we're going to add new stuff. And you're probably thinking, well, how many games are on there right now? Well, I can answer you if you tell me what 26 times 4 is. That's like 100? That doesn't sound right. No, that's 104, isn't it? 104. So, what letter is L? A, B, C, D. That's 12. So we're actually down to 116 items on the list. That's how big the list is right now. What's funny is several people have said we need to chop other things. We actually haven't chopped in a while and don't really plan to ever again. There's also some things way at the bottom I would love to play, such as Mummy Demastered, which I'd really like to play, or Maneater, which I'd really like to play. What else we got here? FF4 After Years. TIE Fighter. Divinity Original Sin 2. MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, which is coming out this year, I think. In something that's available. City Skylines is on here. Coteries of New York, that's something I want to play. See you around, Lieutenant Leroy. Shadowrun on the SNES. Outer Wilds, not Outer Worlds. What else we got here? DMC5 Bloody Palace, that's pretty far down. The War Groove, that's what I want to play. Oh, I guess it's technically 115 items. I keep forgetting that I also include The Mandalorian in that list, the show. I've honestly forgotten about that. I don't think Stellaris is on here. Satisfactory is on here. Both other Fire Emblem Three Houses runs are on here. Titanfall 2. The Avengers game that's coming out later this year. Shadow Machine. I can't wait to play Shadow Machine. I have no idea, Crit Source, but it's probably worth at least looking into. I heard there's this bald, stupid idiot who did a lore run of it you might actually watch through. Thank you, Shadow Machine. Very much appreciate, sir. Thank you. I've put that towards the Pokemon Isles DLC. Master of Orion should be on the list if it's not. It's going to be added in a second. It's not. Holy crap. So let's add Master of Orion 2 and 4 to the list, shall we? Just while we're at it. Not 3. I don't want to waste my time playing 3. There we go. Master of Orion 2 and 4 are now on the potential list. Master of Orion 3 is a waste of time, in my opinion. Like, ignoring how good or bad it is, it's just kind of a waste. Anyone else have any other suggestions? I mean, while we're just sitting here thinking about it. Things that might be added. Ori... Ah, yes, Ori and the Blind Forest 2, now that that's available. Is that on the list? It is not. Ori... What's it called? Will-o'-the-Wisp, thank you. Which is apparently completely playable on Windows 7, despite what is effectively false advertising. Xenosaga, I don't think that's on, so... Xenosaga 1, Xenosaga 2, Xenosaga 3. I will allow those. I've been told I need to be pickier about what I allow and what I don't allow. Red Alert, yeah, I'd love to do Red Alert 3. Specifically 3. Borderlands... sure, Borderlands 3. Add that to the list. Sunshine's already on the list. DBZ Kakarot's already on the list that's on the website. It has $112 and 4 funders, with a total of 224 priority. No, not really, Lord Aramon. The new XCOM's already on the list. Already on the second list. Not the website list. Big difference. Persona? No. I mean, you guys can add stuff to the actual website list once it opens up again. We're talking about stuff that I want to play to add to the list. So, no. I did see your Savicom. It's already on the list. Axiom Verge, is that on the list? I thought about that, Weods, but... Funny fact, the reason our Undertale stream VOD is so terrible is because it was originally intended to be an exploration. And we just ended up finishing it. What are the other Yakuzas? Help me out. Donkey Kong Country, we've already done that. Oh, you mean Tropical Freeze? Ooh, yes. Tropical Freeze. Absolutely, that's a great game and a very difficult one. I don't know much about Environmental Station Alpha, so I can't talk to that one. So we've got Yakuza... Because I do actually want to play the rest of the Yakuza, so we got Yakuza 2 Kiwami. And then Yakuza 3. And then Yakuza 4. And Yakuza 5. Oh no, you guys are just helping me to get ideas for things that I would like to play, that's all. The list isn't budging an inch right now. It's a nice way to keep organized and remember things. I mean, you have to understand just how many games I would love to review. So you guys, I'm basically asking you guys for help in gauging things. Speaking of which, Kingdom Hearts. So let's see, we got Kingdom Hearts 1, we got Kingdom Hearts 2. Let's skip Chain of Memories, BBS, and then we've already reviewed 3. I think we could stop there. 1, 2, and BBS. I'm cool with replaying those ones. The Dragon Quest, yeah, DQ4, DQ5, DQ6, DQ7, DQ8, DQ9. Okay. Portal, yes, Portal. I would love to review those ones. Portal 2. Portal 2 is better than Portal. What else we got? Kingdoms. Earthbound's already on there. Trials of Mana is already on there. No, Asterisk. Remember, we're trying to get rid of video game ruminations. Dawn of War. I don't think we have reviewed Half-Life. We reviewed Black Mesa, but I don't think we actually reviewed Half-Life or Half-Life 2. We did a lore run, but I think that was literally right before we started baking reviews and lore runs together to be efficient. Yeah, no. So, let's do Half-Life 2, because we kind of reviewed Half-Life. Oh yeah, Yakuza 7. That's the one with the summoning magic, right? Like, that's the RPG one. Oh, yeah, speaking of XCOM 2. Cyber Shadow is actually on the website list, Jovan, at $89 and 6 funders for 218 priority. Ah, yes, the God of War. See, this is why I'm asking. You guys are reminding me of games I would actually like to review, like God of War 4, or excuse me, God of War 2. God of War 2. We'll add that to the list. Sands of Time. So I've never actually played Sands of Time, so I kind of want to review the original. Prince of Persia, Sands of Time. So we'll just add Sands of Time itself. I already actually added that one like on World of Warcraft. Someone kill Sierra Mike for me. Careful, he's a Marine. I'm sorry. We could do more of the Phantasy Star series, that's true. And that's up to 4, I think? If I was going to review the Uncharted, I'd rather just review just Uncharted 4. Hey, I've been friends with Marines, Sierra Mike. Thank you very much. Ironically, most of my family's been in the Navy. Assassin's Creed. Oh yeah, we never actually did review the AC series, did we? See, yeah, I had myself sitting here thinking, okay, which Assassin's Creeds do I want to review? Because we will be reviewing Syndicate and Unity. Those are already on the website list. That's why I'm sitting here going, I would love to review 4, if nothing else. It would be fun to play 4 again. But if we were to open up, that's 1, 2, Brotherhood, Rev, 3, 4, Rogue. And those aren't super short games. Yeah, that's because that was before we were actually keeping track of that, Dream Whisperer. I can reverse engineer that, but I haven't yet, so shrug. I still have the full list for putting up on the thanks. I just haven't bothered to enumerate that and put it on the website. That's all it is. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm really sitting here debating the Assassin's Creeds. It's like, and the Phantasy Stars. Yeah, let's go and just add them to the list. Screw it. I do want to review them someday. But we'll just kind of deprioritize those for a bit. Days Gone is actually already on the list. As in the website list. GoldenEye, yeah, sure. Well, name a multiplayer game that would be interesting to review, Baron. Like, if you got any ideas, I'm listening. Infamous, yeah, sure. I like that idea. Infamous 2. I've never played Infamous 3. Quake should be on the list. Quake is on the list. Just Quake 1, though. Why would you do this to me, Imperial Star Destroyer? I can add Quake 2 to the list. I'd like to play through Quake 2. That'd be fun. Dishonored, yeah. We never actually reviewed the first one. We reviewed the second one. It was good stuff. Sims 3, absolutely. I actually really like Sims 3. So. I was debating the Horizon Zero Dawn situation. Because that's actually not only already on the list, but we're getting a PC release this summer, so... The Command & Conquer stuff I'm also very much debating. Because the biggest problem with the old Command & Conquers is just getting them running and viewable. They have kind of that problem. See you around, Righteous Ham. Command & Conquer Red Alert 3 is something I actually want to review. The rest... I don't know. That's it. I would have to do some feasibility studies to figure out how streamable the old games are. I know there's the CNC remaster, so that covers 1. Okay, so 2 things, Imperial Star Destroyer. First of all, thank you. I'll give you a proper thank you in a second. However, the answer is no. Now, I'm going to explain why, okay? Ignoring the fact that the list is locked, so you can't actually add it into the website list right now, there is a second reason why the answer is no. If you give me a moment, I will link you why that is not allowed. Imperial Star Destroyer. This is why. Mystic Quest is already on the website list, Javan. Valkyria Chronicles we've already done. Darksiders 1. I could see that. It might have been Profile instead of Chronicles. I could be misremembering. FF10-2. I think you're right, Dakota. Here's a Might and Magic. Well, HOM 5 is already on there. I think Dead Space is already on there, too. Yep, Dead Space has $108 and 5 funders. SNES Star Wars. No. No. No, I think you're right, Lord Harriman. I think I was just getting confused. I'd be okay with reviewing that one. What system was that on? Whereas people are suggesting games to try and bump my memory as far as things that I would like to review in the future. It's turning out to a big list, but that's okay. Really. Romancing Saga 2. I'm sorry, Hazardous. I know you clarified earlier and I completely missed it. Is that the one that was the end of the original CNC series? Or was that the one right before it, which was actually good? Outer Worlds is on the website list. So that was the good one. Okay, yeah. In that case, absolutely. CNC 3, which I think is the good one. I'm waiting for Imperial Star Destroyer to get back to me. I haven't seen him say anything lately. I mean, 4 Heroes of Light is kind of a game for me, but Jedi Outcast, Enter the Gungeon. I actually really suck at Enter the Gungeon. Like, really. Hunipop. Someone kill Shadow Machine, just really quick, please. Actually, Sierra Mike. I'll forgive everything if you kill him. Legend of Legaia. What the heck is that? It's on the list. That you put it on the list. Holy crap. Well, if it's on the list, then I've already vetted it. Gotta trust past me here. Hang on, just making sure I get everything lined up here. Thank you, Imperial Star Destroyer. Thank you very, very much, sir. Very much appreciated and obliged. Thank you. And I've put that towards Legend of Legaia. That's true. Past Lore's videos suck. Ooh, Just Cause 2. Absolutely. Hell, Just Cause 4 is on the list. In fact, Just Cause 3 should be on the list, too, while we're on the subject. So let's just add all 3 of those. Or 2 of those, rather. There we go. Mario RPG? Which one? Although, actually, that is a good point. One I meant to add. Subnautic Ice expansion's already on the website. My friend Pedro? RDR1? No. Until it comes out on PC. Untitled Goose Game? Why? When do I feel I get good? Well, I mean, I don't think I'm good now, but I'm less bad. So, Shining Force is on what? What system? Because the only one I ever played was PS3? 2 or 3, I forget which. Age of Empires 2. GBA, okay. Tales of Fantasia. Which one was that one? Radiant Historia. The SNES one? I mean, if you... Again, I'm just trying to come up with games that I would actually like to review. That's why I'm kind of going, Sonic Colors, yes. Sonic Colors, absolutely. Sunless Sea is actually on the website list. Company of Heroes. So I've never actually played Company of Heroes. That's the RTS, right? I think. Yeah, XM, sorry. Give me a second, because I lost the paste bin here. Come on. There we go. There you go, XM. Ooh, yes. Homeworld, Deserts of Karak. So sure, we'll add Company of Heroes. I've heard good things about it. Dawn of War style, I think. Dungeon Keeper 2? Ooh. Oh yeah, that's a good point. There's actually several Mega Man games that are not on the list right now. So let's do this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. There, that's all the Mega Man games that aren't on the list that I care about. Although, actually, what's the name of the ones I've never played? Max time. I can't remember what they're called. Star Force, thank you. Mega Man, Star Force, because it'd be interesting to try those out. Legends, I've actually tried Legends. I didn't care for it, but we can add that. You can add that. Secret of Mana original is not on the list. I could see that. Maybe FFA while we're on the list. That's to say SD1 or Sword of Mana, or whatever it's called nowadays. Ah, yes, thank you, the Blaster Masters. Are those on the list? They are not. So there's actually 2 Blaster Master games I very much want to stream/review. In fact, I have actually not played the second one because I was hoping to review it, and then we got buried in other games. But Blaster Master 0 and Blaster Master 02, I actually have a very vested and substantial interest in playing. I have played the PS4 Ratchet & Clank. I'd love to review it, so... PS4 Ratchet & Clank, because I loved the hell out of it. In fact, it was my favorite Ratchet & Clank game of the 2 I've played. Let's do this. Modern Warfare Remake is actually already on the list with $53 and 5 people showing interest in it. I mean, I have actually seen the movie once while I was distracted, taking care of my niece. She was kind of watching it. Earlier MechWarriors are hard to get running and streamable. Even the most recent one, MechWarrior 4 Mercs. Do I add Kane's Wrath? I've been debating that, Hazardous. I didn't like Mech Commander. I was going to say, there's one Need for Speed game I always wanted to try. I've also heard the most recent one was good. The one that just came out. that, like, they've then decided to change developers or something like that. Either way, I would like to try out at least one of the Need for Speed series games, because I've been interested in that for a while. So, I'll just write down, like, a Need for Speed game, and I'll figure out a specific one later. The good Matrix game, that would be Path of Neo. Like I said, I have to look into it max time. Red Alert 3 expansion? I didn't actually like the Red Alert 3 expansion that much. So let's lean towards no at the moment. Simpsons Hit and Run? I'm not sure I want to add Lufia or Lufia 2 to the list. I'm definitely not adding Lufia 3 to the list, good lord. Yes, there was a Matrix MMO. I actually beta tested that along with like every other MMO that came out in that era. It was garbage. It was just... Oh, it was terrible. Just, wow. Age of Mythology, I have issues getting running. I had problems getting it running for the recent Rumination, and that wasn't streaming, so that might be a no, just on technical issues. There was... Oh my god. So... Like, this is spoilers for the Matrix MMO, just really quick. Yeah, World of Warcraft, my kimono. And Lotro. So... And EverQuest 2, actually. In the Matrix MMO, I want you to imagine that there's this scene where you're, like, walking out to a garbage barge, and there's a rogue program which is actually a bunch of flies, and it kills Morpheus, and then you see Morpheus die, and you're like, no... And then you go after him. And... if this sounds boring and dull, it's because I'm trying to emulate just how awful this was presented. Like, this is some of the worst cutscenes I've ever seen. Ignoring the fact that they just straight up killed Morpheus with no build-up or fight. He didn't even fight. He was just like, And then he, like, took over. And then he died. It's just, he died. It was really, really bad. By the way, in case anyone's wondering, I of course was with the Agents faction. Hollow Knight is already on the website list. Because you guys like watching me fail, apparently. I've heard a few RTSs mentioned. I was thinking about Total Annihilation, but I'm also not sure how I would get that streamable nowadays. Fable. I mean, I never played Fable 3 or 2. No, I don't believe I've reviewed Final Fantasy Tactics. No, that's correct, Dreamless World, though. That's on my own list. Titanfall 2 is on the website list. I'd have to really think about which Supreme Commanders I add, because pretty much all of them are very different from each other. The Lion King platformer. Can someone stab Hazardous for me, please? A lot. And no, we never actually reviewed Dragon Quest Builders 1. It'd be weird going back to that, but we could. I'm down for that. Bubsy 3D. Could you also kill Mr. Red while we're on the subject? Oh god, the third faction was just so stupid. Demolition Man on the stuff. Yeah. Burger time! You know what? Yes. I own Burger Time. I have since, that would have been, like, 3rd grade, I think? 3rd or 4th. I'm not sure which. My grandma, who's a wonderful human being, bought me 2 NES games that Christmas. One of them was Mega Man 3. The other one was Burger Time. That might actually be the shortest stream we've ever done. It's that one. Whew. Anyways, we should probably stop. We've been talking for like 20 minutes. Oh yeah, there's actually the future Ace Attorney games. That's actually valid. What are the future Ace Attorney games? Oh, the SteamWorld games. Dude, yeah. SteamWorld. Dig. And then, oh, what's the other one? There, okay. SteamWorld games. I'll at least consider it Dark Time, but I don't think I'll add it to the I want to add it to the list. Okay, so we've got... so we got Investigations, that's the... oh my god, I can't think of his name. Edgeworth one. Hall of Justice, which I know is like when he started being a thing. Then Ace. Dual Destiny. And I'll think about the other ones. I'll play it with whatever I have, Tesla. No, actually, that's a good point. Luigi's Mansion 2, which I've never played. This is me being picky. You'll notice that sometimes someone will suggest an entire franchise, and I'll say, oh, I'd love to play the one game in that. We can add Doom 2, I guess. Sure. Doom 2. Shrug. Yeah, but what's it called other than Spirit something? Doom 64. Isn't that on the list? It is. Doom 64 is on the list with one funder and $5 put towards it. Quake is on the list. Quake 2 is on the list. HOM 5 is on the list. Spirit of Justice, thank you. Go way over here. There we go. StarCraft 1's on the list. Ride to Hell. Okay. No, really. I've actually kind of been wanting to review that game. It would be interesting to establish a floor. Because I'm not sure anything would go below that. Mario Party. No, I don't hate my hands. You guys are helpfully, thank you everyone for your help, suggesting games to kind of remind me of things that I would like to review in the future. I am 100% sure of that. Hell, I beat Ride to Hell Retribution without cheating. You remember? Because I do. It got pretty bad by the end there, but I did it. It depends, Digilant. Like, there's some roguelikes I really like. Rogue Legacy. You know, FTL. I tend to like 20XDX, that's another one. I tend to like roguelikes that kind of go somewhere with it or do something with it. Rather than just, start over. I'm especially fond of mechanics that allow me to maintain some kind of progress across attempts. So I feel like there's some kind of progression even as I fail. That kind of thing. What is... Someone help me out. There's a 20XDX 2 coming out, and I can't remember what it's called. No, we are not playing Postal. Is it just 30XDX? I guess I can just look it up. It is? Okay, so yeah, 30 XDX. Add that to the list. The Voot, if you'll give me a moment, is right here. It is somewhat self-explanatory, but if you want more details, we talked about it in the VOD at the very beginning. It's the first thing I talk about. No, Zygmus, I mean, if you want to add that, that's fine. I don't think I'll add that to the I want to add it list. If you remember, I played through all 3 of those for a Rumination series that I think Guido suggested. And they were okay. Well, the first one I liked better than the other ones. The other ones dragged, in my opinion. Like, it just... I kept thinking, God, is this game ever going to end? Several times. Some fun stuff. I mean, there's some cool stuff there, but God... Papers, please. Could someone kill Dream Whisper? We keep killing viewers here. This is ridiculous. Valhalla is actually already on the website list. With... $39 and 6 funders showing interest in it. Paper Mario we've already reviewed. The Wreck of the Aubergine, or however you say that game, I mean, that's on the Switch now, too, but I mean, it doesn't matter. Bastion, eh. Mighty Number 9, someone kill Mr. Red, please. Parasite Eve is actually already on the list. Transistor, eh. Modern Warfare 2 Remastered, is that actually even confirmed? I admittedly kind of fell out of the news cycle on the Modern Warfare stuff. What is the full name of that game? Return of the Obra Dinn. I'll add that. Curiosity more than anything else. Fire Emblem Three Houses is on the list twice. Prey should be on the list. Prey is on the list with $7 and 2 funders showing interest in it. Wait, they've already released Modern Warfare 2? Yeah, I'm behind. See, that's interesting because the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1 remaster is actually already on the funding list. Yeah, I'll admit I'm curious. Kind of low priority, but I am curious, so I'll add that. Resident Evil 4 is already on the funding list. With $109 and 7 funders. Divinity Original Sin 2 is already on the funding list with $4 and 2 funders. Whoops. Looks like Dead Rising is not on the list. Dead Space 2 is, Deadly Premonition, and Dead Cells. I'm sure that is off the top of it. No, we basically don't do chill runs anymore. I mean, I could do a chill run, but it would still be a review. So anyways, why would you do Minecraft? How do I review Minecraft? And I would rather not review Dark Souls. Although reviewing Saints Row 4 might be fun. Story mode is something different. It's all so there's only one Telltale game I've accepted reviewing, and that's actually the Tales of the Borderlands one. So I think this is a nice big list. We could chop it here. Let's chop it. Let's yeah, there we go. Okay, we're chopped. All right. Why don't we move on for the rest of the day? But in all sincerity, thank you for all your suggestions. This is a lot of stuff that has helped boost my mind and help me think of all sorts of stuff that I would love to look at and review in the future. So thank you, everyone. How many games was that? Well... 98. That's 98 games that I would like to review. Some of those are kind of short, and then some of them are Xenosaga. Pick 2, 4. I don't know. Those aren't in the 98, I was just counting easel games. That stuff is before we get to the 98. That's just the stuff we came up with today. Ooh, Spore. That's a good one. Spore. No, I'd actually rather not play the old Baldur's Gate games if I could avoid it. I love this song. I need one more. Yeah, Darkspore. I played Darkspore with friends for like a weekend. And then we got refunds. Skyrim. Actually, I'll add Morrowind to the list. Spoilers. A lot of gameplay negatives. I'm just going to tell you that right now. There we go. No, we never reviewed the Dissidias. Although Dissidia Duodecim isn't a bad idea. We're up to 101! Exactly, Micromono. We will have to play Morrowind unmodded for review purposes. That's also why I don't want to add Skyrim to the list. Although I guess I could. Just for the sake of curiosity to see how it actually lines up. Sure, let's do Skyrim. Why not? Skyrim, Oblivion, and Morrowind. It'll be fascinating to see how they line up against each other. Really. Jesus, Dakota, seriously? I know they've been implementing that a few places. What is Firewatch? Dark Forces? Stanley Parable? No Daggerfall? I'm not that masochistic. I didn't like Daggerfall when it came out. Oh yeah, Oblivion is so getting a UI negative. Like, I can get used to playing Oblivion, but I have to force my mind into a completely different mentality to operate the UI in Oblivion. It's ridiculous. It's okay, we're actually done now. Or are we? We could add even more games. Right after I finish adding a bunch of zeros here, just to make sure the list looks nice and clean and neat. Everything, Micromono. Mostly the specific interface, that is to say the actual interactability of what interacts with what how. Is that everything? That's everything. Okay, we're good. Firewatch is short. Well, I can't add a game I've never heard of to the games I want to play list. Yeah, the HUD is actually okay in Oblivion, but the interface is not. Crisis Core, yeah, but I don't think I could play Crisis Core without spamming Ultima every 5 seconds. Okay, so for real, let's actually chop it off here. Thank you again, everyone, for your guys' ideas and support. We'll get there some point.